DeanBlundell.com, Twitch TV at Dean Blundell TV, and YouTube on DeanTube, Periscope. It's Dean Blundell, blah, 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 blah. Hi, welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. What a day. We had a podcast schedule with Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's not here. Phoned this guy like before we knew Pfeiffer wasn't going to show up. And he's like, yeah, sure, because it's a special day in this world. It's kind of a weird day, too. So without further ado, because I don't want to waste any more of his time, please welcome the host of Footy Prime, the world's #1 soccer podcast, as well as the voice of soccer in Canada for well over 20 years, Mr. James Sharman. Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing good, pal. How you doing? Good to
Real
be on
good.
again.
Real good. Nice to see you. We were just shooting the shit off the air. We haven't done something or talked together for a long time, so I'm really happy you could join us. I really appreciate it. It's awesome.
Yeah, of course, man. Always
Yeah.
enjoy this.
Yeah, and we'll get to it because the reason why I wanted to talk to you, among other reasons, which we'll get to as well, is a weird story. Well, not weird, really, if you follow what's been going on with Diego Maradona, but he died today at the age of 60, battling illness for a long period of time. I don't know that a lot of people appreciate in this generation how good Diego Maradona was and what he means still to this day, the deity with which he's treated in Argentina and around the world with soccer fans, the scandals, the way he lived, how he was. He was bigger than life. He was hard to imagine bigger than Messi, bigger than Ronaldo. I mean, this guy was and still is the gold standard of soccer, and he's dead at the age of 60. So appreciate you doing this.
Yeah. I mean, listen, in Argentina, there's a literally a church dedicated to him. It's called the Church of Maradona. That's how revered he is over there and across the globe. This was a true icon of sports. I don't know if there are many other names, more synonymous with their pastime than Diego Maradona. You can throw Pele in there probably. Obviously Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. These are the contemporaries of this man who love him or hate him. And listen, as many people loved him, as many hated him. He wasn't a great guy off the field. He had a lot of demons, and a lot of those demons have cost him his life at just 60 years of age. But if you separate the man off the field to the man on the field and just focus for a second on the man on the field, I mean, he might have been the best ever. That old arguments, it's subjective, right? It's always Pele against Maradona, just like nowadays it's Messi against Ronaldo. Who knows? The bottom line is he's one of the greatest we've ever seen. He played with such freedom. He reinvented the game in many ways. And as much as an Englishman, and he broke my heart in 1986, I'm sure we'll get to that. But I respected him so much as the footballer because there are few, if any, like him.
How do you describe Maradona? Like, if someone was to say to you, give me examples. If you're sitting there talking to a 15-year-old kid who loves soccer and he doesn't get it, he's like, oh, just an old fucking soccer player died. How do you explain the importance and who he was through examples or through alliteration or through illustration? How do you say this is who Diego Maradona was?
Well, he was so huge that he was politicized by his own government, by his own nation in Argentina. That's a nation that's been through it over the years. And when things went down, they'd lean on football and celebrate football because they've been so good at it for so long. And he was the figurehead of Argentine football. In 1986, when he did score that infamous hand of God goal, he was tasked with basically getting revenge on England, as in Great Britain, for winning the Falklands War. That was on his shoulders. Go there, Diego, and get us some respect back. That was the pressure put on this guy's shoulders. And he redefined a position in football, the way he played the game. He moved to Europe. He went to Italy and redefined Italian football for forever. The northern cities dominated Italian football. He went to Naples and Napoli, and they won championships. The first time a southern club had won in Italy. And he was there for just 7 years. He was, I guess, in many ways, a pop culture figure as well. He was attracting the paparazzi before many other athletes did. He's always been connected with the mafia in Naples. He hung out with the mafia. He was the quintessential bad boy of sport, right? Really was.
He was in tight with the Italian mob.
Oh yeah. In Naples, in Napoli, there's back in those days. That's when his addiction to cocaine started as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was strong connections with Italian mafia and who he hung out with. He was a commodity, right? He
Yeah.
was a brand, and he was a cool guy to hang out with. So that party scene was very much Maradona.
The things that we know about him professionally equal the crazy fucking shit we know about him, personally. Um, but professionally, how did he come up? What was his story? Was he one of those kids in Argentina that was born dead ass broke and just kicked around a ball of twine for we all know a little bit of the story, but tell me about how he became who he was professionally.
He was that little street urchin, so to speak. Growing up in abject poverty. His family had nothing. He had, I think it's three sisters, himself, his two parents, no money at all, but he had football. And from a very young age, he was noticed and singled out. His first club he went to, in fact, they didn't believe him when he tried out for them. They said, you're too young, you're too small, there's no way, we know you're good. So he showed them
How
his,
tall was
his
he?
credentials. Well, he's 5'5". That's his
He's a
adult
little fucker.
height. Little fella, but stocky as hell. So he was malnourished through poverty. So his first club, began at that age, getting chemists and doctors to start giving him injections and God knows what to build him up, to strengthen him. And he came through, and then he made the big move from home, from Argentina with Boca Juniors, and I forget the numerous teams he played there. Went over to Barcelona, the great Barcelona team in the 70s. Didn't really work out there so much. Then moved to Napoli, and that's when his European pedigree really shone through.
Mm.
And at the same time, he's going to World Cups for the first time in 1982, doing pretty well. He's dominating a World Cup in '86 like no one's ever dominated a tournament before. 4 years later, he reaches a final once again, despite playing really on one leg. So he is that typical sporting story: the kid with nothing who became everything.
Mm. His obviously the biggest in 1986 winning the World Cup, the biggest play or the biggest moment associated with Diego Maradona is the hand of God moment. And I don't know if we can bring up the hand of God moment, but explain the hand of God moment as a British soccer fan. Explain explain how that played into the history and the involvement between, as you pointed out earlier, people at the World Cup and the politics of the day. Can you kind of get into that because
Yeah.
clearly he fucking cheated.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. But he had the big man apparently on his side, right?
Yeah.
He was a devout Catholic, right? So,
Are
yeah, I mean,
Catholics are Catholics allowed to do copious amounts of coke? Is that in the
I want to hang out one night in the Vatican and find out.
Yeah,
Should be a lot of
bro.
fun, I
I
bet you.
know.
So '86 was the first World Cup that I actually remember, and it's to this day my favorite World Cup because I'm what, 12 years old, I guess. Yeah, 12 years old. Sporting heroes are sporting heroes, right? They're comic book heroes. You love these guys. You still have that romance with sport. And England had a really great team that year, and they came across Diego Maradona in the quarterfinals. As mentioned, he had on his shoulders, bring us back respect. We lost the Falkland Islands. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Come back with something. And he played England in this is one of the most famous matches of all time and scored that goal with his hand, blatantly with his hand. There was no video assistant refereeing in those days, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And he scored that, and the whole world explodes. Now, what isn't talked about enough in the mainstream sports media is 4 minutes afterwards, he scored maybe the greatest goal we've ever seen at a World Cup when he just toyed with England's defense, beat five players and scored. But overshadowing that goal was the hand of God goal. Post match, they asked him, Diego, was it with your head or your hand? And that's when he coined the phrase. I may have had a little bit of help, with the hand of God. And years and years later, he is interviewed by the BBC and he acknowledges again, he admits it, yeah, but it wasn't the hand of God, it was the hand of Diego. I did it, I cheated, I got away with it, I won. And I won respect back. So he did own it, he really did own it. But I remember that World Cup because I was in tears, I was crying,
Yeah.
watching that because it's such a
Do you have your
great
do you
game.
have your England jersey on? Were you a little sprite 12-year-old in front of the
Yeah,
telly?
my dad, little Admiral was the people that made the shirt at the time. I remember it well,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was just absolutely devastating. And to this day, I've watched, like yourself, I watched all sports my whole life.
Mhm.
I've never been terrified of an athlete more than that man in that tournament, because whenever he got the ball, you expected him to do something and score. And I remember that game. My memory is terrible, right? It's not a good memory, but I remember that game. I do, and I
Glad I
remember every
called
time
you.
we got
I'm
that
glad I
ball.
called you for a retrospective on Diego Maradona's
Hey, you
career.
know what? You know what, dude? This is true. I have over the course of my career, like in the media, I must have written three, maybe four Maradona obituaries,
Are you
and
serious?
I've written them, I've voiced them, and they're sat there in the bank. And I'm really wondering whether Sportsnet are using it today or not. They
Probably.
might be. I'm not
Probably.
there
Listen,
anymore, but
I know, but I'm just happy you're here. Like, this is a fucking coup for me to get James Sharman at the last second, the king of pies, the owner of Sharman's Proper Pies. Get your subscription now; they're delicious. Um, the voice of soccer in Canada talk about this fucking guy and his issues intimately, right? Like, not only was he just the be all and end all of Argentinian soccer, and not only the churches named after him and days of the week named after him. Um, Kids named like generations of children named Diego.
there's 3 days of mourning being announced. 3 days of mourning in Argentina.
That's
It's been
awesome.
announced by the prime minister.
That's
You look at video from Naples right now.
yeah.
The whole city's shut down. People are walking around like zombies. They can't believe that this guy who was immortal. I mean, let's be honest. He's a bit like Keith Richards, right? I mean, if he
Yeah.
was still alive, we thought he'd live forever because he did not do good things to his body.
Talk about
But
that a little bit too, if you can, because that's the fucking great part about this guy is that you pointed out that he was like the first, badass soccer badass. He hung out with the Italian mob. Those are the guys who introduced him to coke. That was really the fucking downfall of him was the cocaine and all the shit that came with the cocaine, the food. He got enormously fat, but like, what is it? How many times did you pointed out? How many times did you have him written off, and for what? Up
yeah,
until
well,
this
I mean,
point.
this guy. It's incredible to think that a athlete of that level could play while having these demons, these addictions, cocaine being the big one, and alcohol being a huge one as well. And then food, of course, later in life. You mentioned that he was morbidly obese. He had two, not one, but two gastric bypass surgeries when he lost the
That alone, 2 gastric bypass surgeries, like, when you bust through the first fucking gastric bypass surgery and you can get that sucker back up to the size that it was before,
It's
and get
impressive.
really
That's
fat,
diligent.
that that alone deserves an entire nation to go into 3 fucking days of mourning. I have
Well,
never heard of that. That is
well
incredible. That
done.
is
Yeah, well done. Yeah, exactly. It's like getting a liver transplant and then drinking
yeah,
that liver away as well.
George
It's
Best.
happened before.
Yeah,
Yeah, George Best, exactly. Similar, those two are the two parallels, right?
yeah,
Such otherworldly talents who had these demons. But so Maradona had the gastric bypass surgeries, the addictions. He had a huge heart attack in 2004. This year, he had knee surgery and he had surgery to his brain not even a month ago to remove a clot to
mhm,
his brain. This was not a well man.
mhm.
And throughout all this, he was usually working, coaching a team somewhere, if not playing, and obviously TV. We saw him at the World Cup a couple of years ago now in the stands. He didn't look well. He was out of control.
Mhm,
So, no one's, joking aside, no one's surprised by
mhm.
this. This was a tragic story in many, many ways. It was never going to be, Diego Maradona dies of natural causes at 85 years of age. He had taken his body,
Went
through it,
hard.
on
Yeah.
and off the field. And not only that, I mean, when you watch the old highlights of him playing in the 80s and the 70s, that was different soccer, different football. That he was being scythed down. He was being assaulted on that field by big, tough Italian defenders, Spanish defenders, global defenders and World Cups. Like, this is not nowadays where they flop and they fall and they roll around. People were trying to break his leg. They were trying to break him every single time they got a chance. But he was so tough. He stayed in his feet. He wouldn't go down unless he really had to. So, for all the issues off the field, this was a warrior on the
Mhm.
field because I don't think anyone faced the same abuse as Maradona.
Do you know what eventually killed him? Do you know what his cause of death was? Was it just complications from a
I believe
bunch
it
of
was a
different
heart attack.
issues?
Yeah.
Heart
The
attack?
most recent thing I read was a heart attack at home.
Yeah.
I said he had that brain surgery
Yeah.
about a month ago. He got home to recuperate. And yeah, they're saying it's just a heart attack, I think.
Just a heart attack at home. You don't live like that and not expect that to be the way someone goes, especially early. Heart attacks and cocaine, they're like peanut butter and jelly, man. Like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I have friends that have had heart attacks in their 30s. My buddy Craig Gass openly talks about it. He's a great comedian, world famous comedian, and had a coke problem for fucking a long time, and had a heart attack at the age of like 31 or 32, and he's like, fuck, I can't do this. So the fact that he got to 60 in itself is
It's
is an
just amazing.
is an incredible story. Do you have any like do you have any favorite like stories about Maradona that may or may not be true?
Well, I mean, when he was trying to, get over and get through all these drug tests, when he knew that he was clearly, be it coke or be it ephedrine, which he got kicked out in '94 World Cup, he would use one of those fake penises and someone else's
You're in.
urine in it.
Yeah.
He'd use that on a regular basis to the point where actually that fake penis was in a museum in Buenos Aires as Diego Maradona's fake penis until it was stolen. Someone
Was it
stole it.
really? Someone stole the
Yeah, it
dick?
was stolen some global tour. They took it on. So I mean, like these people would absolutely worship this guy. The Maradona. I remember doing a feature on the Maradona Church way back at the
How
store many
fucking
years
different is
ago.
that? Ben Johnson can't get a $20 job, $20 an hour job, and Diego Maradona's having his like drug dick stolen from museums.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's true. They
Wow.
revere him there. No matter what he did, the people of Argentina absolutely loved him because he was their escape from, what was the times, a very tough place to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's obviously changing now, but he's one of those a true icon. I think that word gets thrown around too much, right? He was iconic
Mhm.
in Argentine football, but also global football as well. So it is a sad day, right? It's not a surprising day, but whenever a figure that has been just part of your life, and it's been part of my sporting life, my entire sporting life,
Yeah.
let's be honest, he's always been there, central, just like Pele.
Mhm.
It's a sad day.
Does he have suitors that are going to be lining up for what he's got left, or does he have anything left?
I mean, he's got. I'm assuming he's got lots of money somewhere. He must have. He has he has children.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's currently married or not, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be many people lining up to try and get a piece of Maradona, the brand, because the brand
Mhm.
won't be going anywhere, right? That will continue no matter what.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a 2020, as they say, continues to kind of suck, but like this was like, this has been coming for 20 years. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I heard someone comparing it to Kobe today, right?
oh,
Another icon, right? But
no,
different situation
Kobe
entirely,
didn't
right?
invite it every day for the last,
Exactly.
46 years of his life. So
Yeah,
like,
Diego was dancing with the Grim Reaper each day, and just
yeah,
see
yeah.
how far he could push it, right? So, uh,
James Sharman is our guest. Footy Prime, the name of the podcast. Check it out on Twitter. Check it out anywhere you get your fine podcasts, including at deanblundell.com. You mentioned urine. I wanted to bring this up. We had a we had a thing today. We had something go viral. Now, COVID is a bit of an issue here in Canada.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Nova Scotia, the Atlantic bubble, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland, all those beautiful provinces on the East Coast. Uh, they're now infected, so like it's everybody there is freaking out. So New Brunswick had this press conference yesterday, and the health minister of New Brunswick, lovely young lady, was there to answer some questions. Now, I tweeted this out today, and I do want to say this. I said it was Nova Scotia. My bad. It's New Brunswick. But I appreciate the 200 people that sent me a geography lesson today on Twitter. That was a lot of fun. Like this thing is 500,000 people have watched this video you're about to watch, James. 500,000 of this video that we put out that was taken by my friend Noel Chenier, who's the originator of this video. Follow him at Noel Chenier. But 500,000 people have seen this. 200 Canadians went apeshit on me today, telling me that that's not New Nova Scotia. That's a New Brunswick flag in the background, asshole.
Well, they're very proud of their heritage, obviously. Must be
And
what it
I
is.
get it. I get it. I get it. And I apologize like 14 times and they still kept
What else are
coming.
they
And I'm
doing?
like,
What else are they doing right now? Those
well, and
people,
then
right?
and
They're doing
I
absolutely nothing.
apologize, dude. I apologize 400 times, and people still kept coming for me. So this is what I kept doing because now I'm like, fuck, in for a penny, in for a pound. They want to fight, I'll fight. I don't want to fight, but I'm gonna fight. And so what I did was like, it doesn't matter. That's what I kept saying. Doesn't matter. It's not relevant to the fucking
What
story.
about that?
What's relevant to exactly. So then they came after me. But what's relevant to the story is this woman is giving an update in New Brunswick, and this is one of those Zoom calls, open mic calls. Now, these open mic sessions that people have on Zoom, the ones where they've caught like Jeffrey Tubin masturbating and people taking a dump. There was a lady in New Jersey that got caught taking a dump. She got fired from the school board today. That's a true story. These hot mics during like press conferences are like my greatest entertainment. Hot mics right now are the greatest fucking thing in the world. They're better than Karens. They're better than anything else. A reporter is getting ready to ask a question. As his microphone's on, it goes to him, and he's taking a massive pee. I want you to have a listen to this. Here it is. Here it is.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Thank you, Dr. Tom Bateman. Time to transfer.
Oh, hi there. I'm worried that Peter will
Hang on one sec, folks.
that is not me.
Everybody, please mute your microphones. Tom Bateman.
Good. Hi.
You know, that's amazing. And the best part is how he's saying it's not me, and it probably isn't him, but he is going to be labeled as that guy now forever, right?
Yeah, the
Oh,
guy
my
moderating's like, "Hey guys, listen, I'm not the one having a massive pee right now from 5 feet in the air.
Not me, I
That's-
promise.
I don't know what to swear at. God. That was
Oh,
a
boy.
good stream, though. Whoever it was is healthy. I was really happy to see that. I was like, that's a solid stream, right? As someone in his 40s, you appreciate someone that's able to really force that urine into the bowl. And
Be honest, though. Be honest. I mean, during this whole thing, you know, I've done, like yourself, so many interviews, you know, through Zoom or through the phone, whatever,
Yeah.
right? Or called into press conferences. Often I'm in the washroom. Often. I do so much work in the washroom.
yeah, have you done
you-
have you done like an interview? Have you done an interview during the pandemic while taking a number one,
I haven't, in fairness, done that. No.
number
no.
two?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. No.
Have you done any like you're like me, you don't go to the bathroom without your phone, right? That's the thing. And
No,
that's
I
the problem
can't.
here.
I mean, I can't. It's like some kind of anxiety. I need my phone in my hand.
I know, and that's the thing is that this guy, he's on a Zoom call, clearly on his phone, right? And so he puts the phone. This is my summation of what I think happened. He's waiting to talk to the health minister of New Brunswick, Canada, who I love. Just don't love the 28 people who told me to go fuck myself because I got the province wrong. But that wasn't the point. The point was there was a guy taking a piss in the middle of his COVID-19 press conference, and it was caught on tape. But he's got his phone in his pocket, like Frank Drebin from Naked Gun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
And he's
thinking.
got his phone in his pocket, and he thinks it's great. He's like, they're still setting up, no big deal. And he goes into the bathroom to hang a leak.
He was caught.
Yeah, and he obviously, as he should, lifts the toilet seat and he starts to pee. And then they cut to him to ask a question because the microphone was on, it was live. And on these Zoom calls, you can turn your microphone on and off, right? And if it's your turn to ask a question, you'll see it in a queue on the side. There will be a chat. You're next. Some guy's like, okay, I'm next. And he probably didn't think he was next, or maybe someone dropped off the call. Poor bastard stuck his phone in his pocket, has to go hang a leak. Because I can tell you this, there is nothing worse than being in the middle of a podcast and having to take a raging whiz. There is nothing worse.
Yeah, but the beauty of a podcast, though, is that you can just say, you know what, I'm going for a piss. I'll be right back.
You can't in
And you
this
can do
one.
that.
We're live right now. We're live on Twitch TV. We're live on
You
YouTube.
can just like leave for a couple of minutes if you wanted to.
Yeah, but then how fun is that for people? They'll be like, fuck, I'm not watching this shit. Some guy's just gone to take a leak while James Sharman is sitting there in his kitchen going, oh, well, you'll be right
I'll
back.
try and entertain the masses, Dean, somehow. I don't know what I'll do exactly, you know, but
Plus the dude would have missed it. Like, that's the thing. He would have missed it. So that's just a guy doing a great fucking job. And do you know what I got other than geography lessons today? About 400 tweets from people. I got one from going, there it is, toxic male culture again. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? The guy was just taking a piss. It's all he's doing. And then another one. This is the kind of stuff that makes us women realize that you people are dirtbags. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The guy just took a leak. That's all he
Wait
did.
a minute. How do we know that it was a man taking the piss? There's a lineup of reporters, right, waiting with their mics live.
Yeah. We don't know. And the other thing, it could have been a woman hovering.
Yeah, quite easily.
Yeah, that happens, right?
Let's say jump to the conclusion.
Yeah. Well, and it's just the feminists. It's just the feminazis.
More anti-male rhetoric is what that is.
Yeah, and I'm not here for it because I think rhetoric is earned on merit, not on history, right? No one said anything about women being subjected to terribleness by dumb white guys in there. It was a guy taking a piss. That's it. Yeah. And somehow it turned into. And here's the other narrative that came from it. We all do. Here's the other narrative that came from it. This is why the East hates Toronto. This is why the rest of the world hates Toronto. That's why the rest of Canada hates you, because you can't get your fucking provinces right. And once again, it didn't matter. So I'm like, yeah. And again, I'm not like a fighter. I don't fight unless I really want to. So I'm like, you're correct. I do know where it is though, and it still doesn't matter.
Well, I'll say this, Odin. I haven't heard or seen any Toronto-based reporter take a piss during a live press conference yet. Have you?
Play that one more time for me, Sean. Yeah, this is a New Brunswick reporter pissing in the middle of a press conference.
I love her look on her face, by the way. She's great. She plays it pretty well.
Doesn't she? This isn't a. Oh, apparently she's a hoot too. The health minister of New Brunswick is. She's.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Thank you, Dr. Tom Bateman. Time to transfer.
Oh, hi there. I'm worried that can you hear me?
Hang on one sec, folks.
That is not me.
That's not me.
Imagine that poor bugger, though, right? It's not me. It's not me.
Please mute your microphones.
Everyone, please, for the love of God, mute your microphones. And then he
Tom
farts at the
Bateman.
end there. There you go. There you go, a little fart. And then the guy's like, oh my God, of course you got to pee. And then fart. That's what happened.
That guy, it's like the guy that, says who farted here. Like, he's the guy that's going to be labeled now as the pisser or the farter, whether he's done it or not, right?
That's the pisser, yeah. Especially New Brunswick, right? And apparently Nova Scotia. Everybody's going to be like, hey, how's Tom? Who's that? Who's Tom? The guy that works for the local newspaper. It's like, oh no.
The pisser.
The pisser.
Oh, the pisser. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the pisser.
The pisser. He's doing good.
Yeah, the pisser's fine. He hasn't come out of his house for months.
Traumatized. That could define his entire career, right?
The pisser? Yeah. I want to find out who the fucking pisser is. That's what I want. I want to find out who that guy is.
On our podcast for weeks and weeks and weeks, we had this phantom heavy breather. And we didn't know who it was. We couldn't figure out who it was. Myself, Danny, Craig, Dan, Jack. We couldn't figure out. Someone was breathing heavily down the mic, and we just couldn't break it down until I finally realized during a podcast it was Craig vaping between comments. It's freaking Craig.
And that's not tobacco.
Oh, yeah. So that's what it was. But it took us a long time to figure out who that was. We're all guilty, according to the audience. Everyone, that was Sharman, that was Danny. No, it was Craig freaking vaping.
Yeah.
So,
did you cut it out, or did you say, hey, dude, keep vaping? It's part of the show now.
No, it's really annoying, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was a little bit much.
You got to get him to cut it. You got to work on that audio with him.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, some mic etiquette,
Can you hear this? I'm vaping. Can you hear it?
No, that's some quality vaping, though. That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the pen.
It is. I have like the generic gas station one. It's called a Vipe. Oh my God! Darren Pfeifferberger. He's here. Darren Pfeiffer, say hello to James Sharman. Say hello to James.
Hello, Darren.
Sharman.
It's been a long time, pal. How you doing?
How are you doing, buddy?
Good, man.
Hey, Darren. Darren, we're just playing this video. Wanted to get your thoughts of this guy who left his phone on in the middle of a COVID-19 teleconference while he was taking a piss. Can you? Can I get your thoughts on this? Because this is New Brunswick. James and I are thrilled with it. James and I are just pumped. But can you have a listen to this and just tell me what you think? This was live on television yesterday afternoon around 5 o'clock. New Brunswick was announcing their COVID cases, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on this question. I found it to be a very interesting question.
Okay, go ahead.
Ms. Cunningham. Thank you, Dr. Tom Bateman. Time to transfer.
Oh, hi there. I'm worried that can you hear me?
Hang on one sec, folks.
That is not me.
Everybody, please mute your microphones.
Yeah.
Tom Bateman.
Your thoughts on that
Thank you,
piss.
Ms. Cunningham. Thank you, Dr.
It sounded meaty. It was a meaty sounding piss.
I said.
Very thick.
It was a heavy stream.
Yes.
It was a heavy stream. It sounded like it came from a thick penis, a nice girthy penis. So good for him. Good for him.
I don't think you can tell girth from that piss. I think it's like I think you can tell height. Like he sounds like he's about 5'11".
I think urethra diameter was clearly, we're talking like a dime size there, I think.
Also, you could tell from the sound of it that he might have had asparagus for lunch.
James, Yeah.
I got a great reason to be for being late.
Yeah. Well, James might have to leave. I can't ask him. Just so you know, we might be ending this podcast because if James has to leave, I got to let him go because he did me a solid. He came on at the last second. He was going to come on with us to talk about Diego Maradona. You missed it. He just went through the whole, because Diego Maradona died, and he just went through the whole thing about how fucking unbelievable Maradona was. And like, there's no better guy than you want on today than James Sharman from at Footy Prime podcast, from the Footy Prime podcast, and James Sharman's Proper Pies. There's no better guy than James Sharman, and you missed it.
So I got a good reason why I blew it.
Well, I'd like to hear it.
I got a new piece of art.
Okay.
And it's in my office, and I'm really excited about it.
Okay.
I got to take my background off. Hold on.
Yeah. I can't see for shit.
Give me a second. I'm going to maneuver here.
Hey, James, are you bored yet? Huh?
Oh, I'm bored. I've been bored for minutes now.
No, James, you got to stay for this. Oh,
no, I'm sticking around. I'll stick around. You got 2 more minutes with me. 2 more minutes. Then
okay.
I've got a jam.
Okay, 2 more minutes. You got to get this picture up. James Sharman.
Hold on. Okay. There we go. So I got this artwork today. It's called Kiss.
Yeah.
And it's these girls kissing.
That is nice.
That took you 48 minutes?
Yeah, I'll get the glare off
the picture and develop it yourself.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You just forgot.
Look, it's
No.
art, man.
No, dude.
I'm collecting art.
You just
so
forgot.
I'm late. I'm sorry. I'm late. I'm sorry, James. I'm being rude for being late. But look at this. This is going to be worth something in like 100 years.
Yeah, that's just spank material, bud. That's okay. Is that what you were doing for 48 minutes? Were you masturbating for 48 minutes?
It takes that long, Dean, sometimes.
48 minutes. And I'm not mad. That's the incredible part. James Sharman at Footy Prime. Thanks for doing this, brother.
Hey, no worries, fellas. Always fun. We'll chat soon.
James Sharman from the Footy Prime podcast. Thanks, brother. The life and times of Diego Maradona, which were great ones, other than the professional stuff. Anyway, it was great. You missed it.
I missed it. I blew it. Yeah.
You just spaced it. You were busy. I do the same thing. It happens to me. So I can't be mad.
I'm a disgrace to podcasting.
Yeah, fuck, no, you're not. You know what? I even find this funny. So that's how bright side I am these days.
So what is it? What is that? Remind me. It's been a while since I've lived in Canada. But what happens in American Thanksgiving week? Is everything shut down? Well, everything's shut down anyway. But is it business as usual?
Can I ask you a question?
Non-COVID world.
Can I ask you a question? Why would Canada close down for American Thanksgiving?
Because it seems like sometimes, like,
it's a very American way to look at it.
Canadian holidays sometimes align with American holidays. Like, we have Veterans Day. You guys have Remembrance Day. And, like, there are certain holidays that America has that Canada has kind of, well, if America's having that day off, then we'll have that day off, too.
Yeah. Thanksgiving isn't as important to Canadians. I think that there's like and especially your Thanksgiving, because I think there's still a real colonial aspect to it. You know what I mean? I think there's still we took all the land from the Indians, kind of like, hey, Plymouth Rock, fuck, we bombed the shit out of it. That kind of stuff. In Canada, we're like, probably shouldn't have stole the indigenous lands, and we should probably give it back. So we're very sensitive to that up here, so we don't overdo the Thanksgiving. It's like you just can't. And we're definitely not celebrating your Thanksgiving. Especially after.
No, I didn't say you have to celebrate it. I'm just like, I wonder if there's a Canadian equivalent to the day off that we get.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving, but it's Canadian.
No, your Thanksgiving's October.
Yeah, because it's like way smarter to do Thanksgiving when it's not as fucking cold.
Yeah.
Genius.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
That's good. Makes sense.
Is that your Thanksgiving tomorrow? America, happy Thanksgiving to you, by the way, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, tomorrow, Cheryl, my wife, is in the kitchen right now. She's cranking out some pies, and she's brining the turkey for 24 hours.
Explain the brining.
Brining is when you put a bunch of spices and in this solution, this water type of salty solution with peels and cinnamon and other things, and you put it in the bag and you let it sit. The raw turkey sits in this brine solution for 24 hours, and it soaks up. And it makes the meat a little bit more tender, a little more juicy.
Flavorier.
Yeah, it also as you're cooking it, it helps prevent drying out the meat. Like when you're cooking it through a big turkey.
Yeah, I get it.
I maybe explain what brining was too.
Well, you know what? I fancy myself to be a little bit of a mini chef these days. Like I enjoy the cooking. I made a spaghetti bake the other day, no big deal. I made a chicken noodle soup from scratch, no big deal.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can do it
You
all.
got kids, so you had to learn how to cook.
Yes, I did. And everybody should. So it's not something that's designated to one sex or the other.
So
It's
all three of your three kids, correct?
right. 3 boys. Yeah,
They're all 3 boys. They're alive right now,
they're alive. They live with me.
and you've done a good job.
Done a fucking great job. They're all tall, good looking, smart, successful at whatever it is they try and do. It's incredible. They're nice kids, all because of my cooking, because I figured it out.
It's all that soup and the spaghetti and all the other things.
Yeah, dude. When I got divorced, I took a lesson on how to cook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I
So
realized you don't
class.
need to do that. All you need to do is watch YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Now YouTube, yeah.
That's it. All I do is go to YouTube. I'm like, tonight, I think I'm going to have spaghetti Alfredo. What do I need to do? YouTube. Go get some spaghetti, put some Alfredo sauce in it. Fucking perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
You know what I do, Dean? I don't go to YouTube. I make it real simple. I just go to Uber Eats.
Do you really? It's the downfall of society, my friend. You got to still be able to cook for yourself. Like I don't know if you'd know this, and this is a little something I'm going to share with you. I don't know if you know this. I actually grow plants in my spare time as well.
Like marijuana plants?
Nope.
Like
Nope.
Like a garden. You got a garden. Dean does this to me, Sean. He leaves me high and dry, and I gotta entertain. I gotta do a little dance. I gotta tell a little joke.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay silent in the background
You
here.
just stay silent.
I'll
I'll have some of my coffee.
Yeah, you know, I don't live near an Uber, so
And we're back.
there though.
And we're back. So a couple things I want to show you. These were the things that were gifted me, forcefully gifted me. I'm going to say that nicely without getting into details. These were gifted to me forcefully by my ex. Here's this. Mother-in-law's tongue. That's what this fucker's called. And it's nice too. It's got the nice little, it's getting bigger. It's growing. I just feed it like water once a week and boom, leave it in the window. But I check it from time to time just to make sure, whatever. And then I call my mom and I'm like, is this good? She's like, yeah.
Who
Not
gave you
done.
that?
Shh, not done. Second plant I grow. This little fucker, again, forcefully given to me when I moved out. This little guy here is an orchid. This is an orchid. You know how hard it is to grow one of these fuckers, Darren? An orchid? It's impossible. And I still don't know how or why, but I know this is a pistil, that's a stem, these are rods, and that's a fucking plant, and you give it 2 ice cubes a week, and boom, this is what you get. See that? Isn't that incredible? Right there. I grew that whole fucking thing. It was just a little guy. It was just a little
Look at
guy.
you. I didn't know you had a green thumb.
I don't. I FaceTime my mom. Getting back to what I was saying, is there anything you can't do on FaceTime or with YouTube? Like anything?
No.
I learned how to grind cement out of the basement of my old house on YouTube in 5 minutes. I also learned how to lay a vinyl floor in about 3 minutes while I was having a poop, and literally did it perfectly. So there's no need for school anymore. That's my point. There's no need for education. There's no need for tutelage. There's no need for webinars. Probably you don't even need to go to med school anymore. All you need to do, watch YouTube videos. Works. Surrounded by the successes.
I'm going to agree with 95% of that, but the med school, I think there should be med schools. I think doctoring is what, hey, listen, I'm going to fix your ulcer. I went to YouTube University. Yeah. I got it figured out.
FaceTime YouTube. Right here. FaceTime YouTube.
Yeah,
listen, sure, surgery.
Videos.
Surgery requires surgery requires probably a little more schooling.
It's almost like you're between two ferns there. Zach Galifianakis.
No, I'm between a mother-in-law's tongue and an orchid. And I'm really excited to see what color this bitch is too. Like that's the other thing. I'm weird. I'm 47 now. I'm really excited to see what color these fucking flowers are because I didn't know what colors were there when they came hurling my way when I picked them up.
Are they starting to bud there at the top?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No indication of color?
No indication of color yet. I'm going to say purple. I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Is that purple?
Because the tips are
yeah.
purple.
Tips. Yeah, it's got a purple tip. It's like you've been choking it too hard.
Well, for 45 minutes I was busy. So.
Yeah. Oh, I know you were. Is that why you were late? Were you masturbating?
No, the email came in late.
Oh.
Or got buried or whatever. But
look at that. See, I'm telling you, you teach a man to watch a YouTube video, you'll learn how to do anything. Teach a man how to grow a plant, he'll only grow a plant. That's what I'm saying. Watch a fucking YouTube video.
There's videos on YouTube that will show you how to construct a nuclear reactor. But you gotta get some uranium. That's the problem.
That's too much work. Like those are stupid YouTube videos, like how to build your
like
own fucking nuclear reactor or how to disembowel a live animal. Like those videos are the work involved with it is ridiculous. No one's doing that. And if you do, you're a Satanist or like a terrorist. So
why did you go
I just want to grow some
automatically
fucking
to
plants.
disembowel an animal?
I don't know.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Nuclear reactor, science things, my basement cement, disemboweling animals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on the same path. Oh, Dino. I love it.
Anyway, I think we're done. Thanks, buddy.
Well, I got a quick shot. I got to sneak
Buddy,
in there.
I'm so dude. I don't care. You make me laugh. Fuck, who cares? You were late. Doesn't matter. This isn't an exact science. I love you, so it doesn't matter. At Darren Pfeiffer, or sorry, at Darren99 on Twitter. You can get him to Adobe Radio. You can find his podcast, the Dangerous Darren podcast, at DeanBlundell.com, wherever you get your great podcasts, including Spotify, Apple Tunes, iTunes, whatever. Fuck.
And on the Dean Blundell network, it's sitting there, ready to be consumed and rock and rolled.
Yeah, you had a great. It's on actually the stream right now. Great fucking interview with Wyclef Jean, and it was heavy too. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And nowhere
to talk about Haiti and politics of Haiti. And
yeah. But you can't like when I brought you on. Well, when we decided to do this, it sounds like I did you a favor. You did us a favor when you came over. Kindly. I went through a list of all your podcasts, like probably 2 weeks in, and I'm like, holy shit, the guy fucking knows Tony Hawk. Oh my God. And then I'm like, oh, Wyclef Jean's on one of our podcasts. It's like, it's awesome having you. So I love everything you do. Always have. Appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Love. Right,
Darren Pfeiffer, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, depending on how you took us in today. Appreciate it. Thanks to our friends at Owner's Box Fantasy Sports. Weekly fantasy done right. Sign up right now. Now. You get a $500 deposit bonus. So you put in $500, they'll put in $500. You put in $300, they'll put in $300. Up to $500 extra on top of what you put in, depending on what you put in. Totally free to sign up. Fantasy sports done right. Great cash payouts too. Go to ownersbox.com today. Sign up. Nothing like the online experience too. They've got an app. They've got all that stuff. It's incredible. They download anything you can from them. Everything's cool. Super self-contained. You can play with your buddies. You can join other games. You can play for big money. You can play for Owner's Bucks. You can do it all. Owner's Box Fantasy Sports, the world's premier weekly fantasy sports platform. Owner's Box. Blue Microphones. What's up, guys? Appreciate you and Joel and everybody over at Blue Microphones for setting up the entire network with Blue Microphones, the official microphone of DeanBlundell.com. Woo! And if you have a podcast, they want to give you some stuff too. We have got a microphone arm. We've got this Blue Yeti X. We got a bunch of stuff just lying around. We've got these headphones, Emmy award-winning headphones that we're going to give one lucky podcast, one person, one podcast. All this stuff, and you're going to join the DeanBlundell.com network with the Show Us Your Pod contest, brought to you by friends at Blue Microphones, the official microphone of DeanBlundell.com and the network. Go sign up at DeanBlundell.com. Super easy. Just leave us a link. You don't even have to upload. Nothing to upload. We've taken all the work out. Link, name, information. Boom. We'll get back to you. The Show Us Your Pod contest from Blue Microphones, at Blue Microphones on Twitter, on the Twitter machine. And Ed's Fine Imports, his Gitch, #1 in the world. Premier luxury underwear called Gitch. Use promo code GITCH3 and you're going to buy 3 and then you'll get 1 free. So 4 for the price of 3 when you go to Ed's Fine Imports right now. Gitch. Ed's Fine Imports. You cannot believe how unbelievably comfortable these underwear. I'm just seeing if I have any here. No, I don't. from upstairs. I had some stunt underwear here that I was showing everybody. You can see them on the screen. They're incredible. EdsFineImports.com. Get your Gitch, fellas. Super easy to order. Get them for Christmas. Ladies, get these for your husband, boyfriend, dad. Get them for your kids. They come in all sizes. They're like athletic wear, knitwear. They're super lean, jersey kind of feel. They're super breathable. Got a pouch at the front for your nutsack. EdsFineImports.com. And his Gitch, promo code Gitch, the number 3, will get you an extra pair of underwear. Buy 3, get 1 free. EdsFineImports.com. Thanks for listening to the podcast. You can join us at the DeanBlundell.com network by signing up for the newsletter. We'll send you all the stuff. That's it. No spam. And I'm done. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.